Hey guys, welcome to Vlogoween. So today we are going to talk about what makes something scary, like the psychology behind that. I figured this could be something cool, interesting, and different than the other videos that I've made for this month. So let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so I'm gonna be mostly reading from my phone, but I'm gonna try not to yeah. So horror movies play to our greatest fears and phobias. This is a list of the top 10 things that make horror movies scary. First one is fear of death. I mean, obviously, yes, this is the ultimate fear. We all fear death, no matter if we're religious or not. I mean, of course, when you're religious, most of the time you obviously believe in heaven, so you're less fearful of it. But for me personally, I'm definitely afraid of death, especially since I've lost a lot of people in my family and in my life over the last 27 years. So, you know, but that really gets to people when they're watching a movie that, you know, it isn't really a horror movie if people don't get killed, you know? I mean, people, you know, that's that fear of not knowing when you're gonna die and not knowing when your time is and all that kind of stuff. It can be scary. So yeah. Oh, this next one is definitely something I'm afraid of: the dark. From our earliest childhood, we are afraid of the dark. Not the dark itself, but what it hides. Yeah, like when I've always been that person that sleeps with a light on. Not a light on necessarily, but I like to keep like my door or whatever open so that I get a little bit of light peeking through, so it's not like pitch black in my room, because I hate that. Like I was at my aunt's in Florida last year, and you know, I kept my door open, and my aunt actually came into my room and asked me like if I was okay, because I guess she's used to closing her door, and I just told her that I just wanted to, I've told her I was a night owl, which I am, but I also told her that I just don't like the dark. So it makes horror movies even scarier to watch them in a darkened theater or a dark living room, of course. Yeah, so yeah, like me and my brother and dad, we watched some horror movies last Friday, and we had the lights off, so it definitely makes it scarier. 3. Creepy crawly things. Snakes, spiders, rats, other crawling things are scary in and of themselves, but when they touch the skin in the dark, it amplifies this common phobia. So, which makes sense. I mean, most people are afraid of spiders and snakes and insects and all that stuff. I mean, personally, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm not really scared of spiders. I just kill them when I see them, which probably sounds really morbid, but I don't really care. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm not really scared of snakes. I mean, I would be scared of like a python if it was near me, probably, but normal garden snakes I'm not really scared of. So, scary places is number 4. Horror movies are full of scary places: graveyards, old houses, dungeons, attics, basements. Yeah, I mean, creepy places definitely are scary because of the unknown. I think that's the biggest thing in life and in general, horror or no horror, that is scary. Like, we're all afraid of the unknown. If we're going to a situation and we don't know of every single thing that's going to happen, we kind of get nervous or anxious or scared a little bit. 5 is disfigurement. Many horror movies feature grotesquely disfigured antagonists. Studies in early development have found that young infants will react with fear to asymmetrical or distorted faces, which I guess I feel like we're kind of just built and programmed maybe by birth to like symmetrical faces, and if we see something that's not symmetrical, it kind of like scares us / like makes us think like, oh, like it startles us. I feel like that's a good word for it. So 6, dismemberment. Fear of dismemberment involves loss of a part of the self. The popularity and horror of the Saw movies involves self-dismemberment. So yeah, I mean, I think like the thought of losing anything, but particularly for this one, of course, like losing an arm or a leg or something, that freaks most people out. Like, I mean, if you have to lose your leg or your arm, it's like losing a part of yourself, you know, because And I feel like as Americans we take for granted the fact that a lot of people have disabilities and have been in situations where they've lost their limbs, and I feel like, you know, we shouldn't take for granted what we have. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary to think that, you know, like, you could lose a body part. I mean, that's scary when you're, and I mean, if somebody hacks off your, or makes you hack off your leg, that's intimidating, to say the least. 7, suspense, anticipation, expectations. The best horror movies are full of suspense. Think Alfred Hitchcock. Suspense involves creating anticipation that something bad will happen, and not knowing when it will occur. I mean, that's like 101 of horror movies. Like, obviously, like Paranormal Activity, for example. Like 3/4 of those movies are just built up, like slowly, like building us up to like the end where shit gets real, you know, and that gets us scared because we don't know when something's gonna just fly out at us or start doing crazy shit, like, you know. So yeah, not knowing what's gonna happen. It's like the unknown. It's just anticipation. The suspense is killing me. That's why people say the suspense is killing me, because it's scary. Number 8, spooky music. Music can create moods and elicit emotions. The music used in horror movies can be creepy and can be used to accentuate the actions seen on the screen. I mean, if you think of the best kinds of like horror movies, like there's definitely a connection between the music and the action and the fear that it elicits in yourself, you know. Number 9, lightning and thunder. Many people are afraid of lightning and thunder, sudden flashes of light that can kill, and a sudden and deafening sound that accompanies the lightning. Flashing lights and loud noises create a startle response, and they are a mainstay of a horror film. I mean, I think when I think of like that, I think of like the Psycho movies. I haven't watched Psycho, not Psycho movies, but I haven't watched Psycho in a long time. But I think that there are like maybe things that are like lightning and thunder. I'm not sure. I might be completely wrong. But that, I mean, it is, I mean, even when we're having a storm here at, you know, where I live, it sometimes like scares me when there's like thunder, because it's like, ugh. And number 10, fear of the unusual. We know that young children are often afraid of things that are different or unusual, and highly usual looking things are often sources of fear. But a common theme in horror movies is to take something that is normally not scary and make it into a feared object. In other words, making the usual unusual. So yeah, I mean, anything that's like abnormal, unexpected, something that's, you know, basically like it says, unusual is, it's like, the bottom line I think of this list is that no matter what, the unusual is scary. The unknown is always scary, no matter who you are or where you came from. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed, and stay spooky. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!